Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. As always, thanks for watching us. We are at the Cloud Expo Show 2011 in Manhattan. On our program today is Ed King. He's the VP of Product Marketing at Vordel. Ed, how are you?
Thank you, Rich. Very good.
So tell me a little bit about Vordel. What do you guys do?
Yeah, Vordel, we're a leading provider of application gateways. So what we do is we help applications communicate to each other securely with performance. Doesn't matter whether the applications is behind a firewall, in the cloud, or mobile applications.
So basically just ensuring that you have secure communications, inter-application
Also,
communications,
yeah,
right?
secure. Also, a lot of these applications, especially when you start mixing the old and the new, they don't talk the same protocol. They don't have different standards that they support. So we're kind of the super translator in between these applications. We help you also do it in a way that's secure and also compliant as well. So we provide full-blown audit to help make sure, again, everything is kind of nice and tidy.
Now, XML is a common way of communicating between apps, right?
Exactly.
So do you leverage a secure XML?
Yes, in fact, the XML, this technology actually is about 10 years old now. It has a mature license. In fact, the original name for this technology is actually called XML Gateway. Right? In fact, a lot of people call it XML Gateway or SOA Gateway, but it really has kind of evolved quite a bit in the last couple of years to support some of the much newer technologies. So we're talking about RESTful APIs, JSON, so the lighter weight, mobile-friendly technologies, and also some of the more kind of the traditional B2B type of stuff like EDI, AS2, AS3, AS4. These all now start to come a long way, and basically we're supporting this kind of heterogeneous application environment, if you will.
Now, recently you've announced a 6.1 version of your solution. I'm
Yes, we
curious,
have.
what are some of the new features and functions of 6.1?
Yeah, 6.1, we focus on what we call the practical realities of computing. How do we help customers kind of really move towards the cloud? And we talked to our customers quite a bit in the last 18 months about cloud computing, and it's probably won't be a surprise to anybody that there's a lot of confusion and hype out there about the cloud. Everybody is doing cloud these days, right? And now what's interesting is that customers actually really understand the value proposition of the cloud. They understand that if you go to the cloud, that you will have better agility, lower costs, and all that. But what's confusing is that when they start looking at their current IT infrastructure, their legacy enterprise applications, their core infrastructure they have built in the last 10 years, and how do we get from here to there? That is absolutely not clear, right? Yes, cloud sounds nice, but again, how do I get from here to there? So what we basically trying to do, and all this hype, it doesn't really help. So what we're trying to do is really help them on kind of the path to get from where they stand today with the existing assets and start to embrace the cloud both as a provider, as also as a consumer of cloud services. Again, how to get from today to a tomorrow, which is a kind of a mixed environment of enterprise applications that's on-premise, as well as incorporating newer cloud-based services and infrastructure, because you'll never be a pure cloud-based IT environment.
So tell me more about the practical realities of cloud computing.
Sure.
Exactly what do you mean by that?
Sure.
How does that work?
Yeah, we focus on three areas really. The first area is that people talk a lot about moving your data center into the cloud, right? But that's really addressing a lot of the cost side of the business. It doesn't really talk about how do you actually increase revenue, right? So what we do is that the reality is that if you look at what, again, it's the mission critical applications people run today, we're talking about the people like stuff like Siebel, PeopleSoft,
right,
SAP, and a lot of custom, developed applications. These things were all deployed before, in the days when cloud was just the fluffy stuff in the sky, and didn't have. It's not what we know as today as IT people. And so, how do you take these assets, which really don't have, for the most part, don't have web-enabled interfaces, right? Maybe few of them have. Some have, for example, Java APIs. A few less have web services. Even very rarely you'll find one with RESTful APIs. Even if they have it, it's fairly recent. Now, even if they do have these more web-friendly web interfaces, what you also usually find is that they lack security,
right,
and they lack audit for compliance.
Right.
A lot of it is basically, here's my interface.
Right.
Mr. Customer, go kind of figure it out.
Sure.
So that's what we mean by the practical side of cloud computing is that how do you take these things and have a practical way of actually use these legacy enterprise application that enable mobile computing, enable cloud computing, without have to complete rewrite your application or do very expensive
What's that
upgrades.
answer? How do you deal with these legacy apps? Because there are so many of them, as you mentioned.
Correct. So what we do is that
companies still are running Fortran and COBOL,
oh,
right?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So what we try to focus on is that by deploying the Vordel application gateway solution in front of the enterprise application, because we can provide the real-time translation of protocol. So let's say if your application supports, say, just either real web services or straight up Java APIs, but you need to enable people to write iPhone apps, mobile apps against that interface, right? So you need RESTful APIs. So we can help you do that translation in real time, at the same time provide the security and also the audit that goes along with that interface. And the key here is that you don't have to change what your application is capable of today. You don't have to add new interfaces to the application. You don't have to go back to people like SAP and Oracle and ask them for upgrades. Instead, you just basically have to put this new interface in front of it, and basically you're there. Now you can all of a sudden you can now extend your enterprise applications beyond the network perimeters and support any kind of cloud and mobile initiatives.
so what's next for the company?
So the next kind of companies that we are really, again, want to focus on, we really like this direction we're going in terms of being able to enable this kind of practical adoption of cloud, right? So some of the other initiatives we're doing, for example, we want to also help people adopt how do we help people consume cloud services easier as well, right? So this is what we talk about by putting the control back in the customer's hands. Today, the approach is too much of the cloud vendors approach. Today's approach is too much of a kind of trust me type approach, right? They try to basically document all their security policies, their operational procedures, and get SAS 70 certifications. At the end of the day, people just got to come to realization that the customers just don't trust you. And they have very good reason why they shouldn't trust you. In the last 2 months, we all heard all these news about outages and security concerns. So the key is how do we, as a cloud IT community, how do we come up with technologies to put the control back in the customer's hands so the customer can say, I have control over security and policy, and I don't have to trust a cloud provider. Now, if we can do that, and we're well on our way doing that today, that we can now actually increase people's, decrease people's reluctance to actually adopt cloud.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being on the program today. It was great to see you.
Thank you, Rich.